local issues. Who you all work in in Los Angeles? Yes? No? Possibly. Los Angeles has their own green building initiatives. There are some local, regional issues. The number one issue for this arid land that we have, the world that we are dealing with, is the water, right? The water issue that we have is the first 3/4 inch rain that comes onto your property must be collected. First of all, you have one water collection, which was part of the general construction, right? You have to provide the elements so you're not going to have any erosion, surface erosion, etc., during construction. Then, if you are doing any construction residential, the first 3/4 inch rain that falls in, you have to collect it and reuse it. The reason is they want to recharge the groundwater. Does anybody know about what's happening in Fountain Valley, the plant that is there? The seawater, I will draw there. What is happening is, there is a battle. There is an underworld battle. This is like a movie theater there, right?
I'm going to switch over. Okay, go ahead. Okay, go ahead.
In the underwater world, right? This is the seabed. And you got your water in this location, and here it is, and here's a house, $8 million, and this is the guy who owns it, right? As you go in further and further, what is this water doing? There is a mass diffusion of seawater getting into the dry land, right? It happens. If you smoke, smoke goes from a high density to low density, from wet to dry. Heat goes from heat to cold. That mass transfers there, chemical engineering. The issue is, as this gets drier and drier, the water seepage goes through, right? What does Fountain Valley do? Fountain Valley, the processing that happens there, it simply takes all of our water from sewer, etc., cleans it to the nth degree, to the point that it is one of the most sophisticated plants in the world, and pushes it back to the earth. Why? Is to fight this mass of water that's coming in. Does that make sense? They are recharging the water. What is happening is this. If we simply, now imagine when the rain occurs in your backyard, what happens is rainwater comes in and your sprinkler heads, right? Everything, 90% of your sprinkler heads is on the street, right? Oh, that's Joe's water, that's Michael's water. They're all identified with colors. And they go back to the drainage stormwater system and back to the creeks and back to the ocean. What they're trying to do with this 3/4 inch rain is to what? Hold on their horse to back so that it refeeds this dryness, so that it is wet, so that the battle of underworld does not occur. So what is interesting about that particular picture is that they are pushing to make sure the first 3/4 inch stays there. And then they came out and they did something else. And they said, we got 600 tanks. We will give you all the items. The first 600, please raise your hand. We'll give it to you for free. It was a little device called rainwater harvesting. 3,000 people showed up in a very short time period, right? Can they give to 8 million people? The answer is no. So what did they do? They wrote a code. The code says, you have a 500 square feet room addition, that thou shalt control the water that comes onto your lot. Are you there? A lot. So if it comes on the roof, etc., you go and you collect it. So what did we do? I and two others, we designed and we sort of patented, and thanks to Joe, we got some Zern products there, and we pro bono, we installed one, the first one at the Angeles National Forest. without luck, as soon as we installed it, there was the forest fire, and the whole thing went away. We put another one. It just got installed. So we have one now there, and the reason for that is exactly that. It's very, very, very simple. And if you knew of the Atlantis story, tri-state on that side of the country, they were having a massive water shortage. Massive water shortage. In a sense that they were actually collecting the water from their rain, picking up, and then just flowering their pots, etc., etc. So know that that's happening. That's coming up. They are going, Villaraigosa is going through a process. Before the year is out, that becomes the law. Very likely the county of Los Angeles has adopted or will adopt it. And definitely some towns like Santa Monica, etc., they will be the leaders and they will adopt it anyway. And most likely they have that. So watch out. Forget about the cow green, watch out for local greens, right? So if you do any work, make sure you get to know the local jurisdictions. I did go to a seminar, a very nice guy from Tucson, very, very dynamic, very animated person. I will show off his book. His entire life was harvesting water. Imagine in Arizona, arid zones, zones of no water, right? So you can see that Los Angeles has a ordinance of its own, and it goes on, and they are looking at, and they are showing off how much water they are saving, etc., etc. San Francisco has its own policy, and they are pushing LEED versus the different formats. And I did a good-sized job in West Hollywood. West Hollywood, the issue that we had there is that some of at the time that they were not really promoting it. But who knows about stormwater management or SUSUMP? SUSUMP is a stormwater management that simply says the water, you don't have to collect it. But they're not allowing the water that is contaminated from your roof, from your lot, etc., just to go through the runoff. Because the fishes and the salmons and the birds will be angry, right? So what do is you clean it. You have to go through the process of cleaning, and that is massive. Because once you go beyond 10 condos or certain square footage of a project, you have to do it. And by the way, as an architect, make sure you get that in advance. If you don't get the engineers involved and you don't plan that thing out, it becomes a monstrous headache. I can tell you that I personally added maybe at least $80,000 to the concrete and the rebars, plus the other garbage that you have to add, right? Just watch out, that's the format. So there are rules, that's City of West Hollywood. I know them very well, I've done a lot of jobs, and they're pushing the bamboos, the Energy Star ratings, the green roofs, and so those are like mandatory. You have to do it, no questions asked, okay? So watch out for your local codes. Santa Monica, I have done jobs with them, not to an extent that would initiate the green, but they do have their own, and they do have very nice layout. And if you're a landscape architect, watch out. They have a lot of rules and regulations on the landscape and irrigations. Of course, you got the other cities, and you have to deal with those.